Hello and welcome everybody to the channel that you can use to your advantage. Today, before I start this video, I want to send out a shout out to all the people that have been following me and to the subscribers that have been asking me about the washing machines. I want to send out blessings from God that you guys may be blessed with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I want to send a shout out to Fabio Guerra from Venezuela, Jorge Arias from Ecuador, Martin Hernandez from Aguascalientes, Rodriguez Star from Baltimore, Rafael Vasquez from Venezuela, Tomas Gonzalez from Panama, and plenty more subscribers that I have here in the list. I want to send a shout out to everybody. Thank you for joining this channel and subscribing. Thank you all for your questions and your comments. I really appreciate that. And I also have a list here from the subscribers that had commented, get down with the set. What I mean by that is that whoever comments, get down with a set, that means that you automatically enter a raffle to win a set of a washing machine and a dryer. So if you are interested in winning a free washing machine and a dryer, all you have to do is subscribe and comment, get down with the set, and you automatically enter to win. So I wanna send a shout out to Francisco Cruz, Pedro Bedoya, and plenty more subscribers that have commented, get down with the set. My goal is to get 2,000 subscribers, and once I'm done getting the 2,000 subscribers, then I'm gonna do a live video to see who wins the washing machine and dryer set. And remember, everything is gonna be all free. All you gotta do is subscribe and comment on the comment section, get down with a set. I know it's been a while since I downloaded a video of repairing washing machines and dryers, but I'm back to doing that. And right here behind me, I have a washing machine, and I'm gonna be explaining the components and what misfunctions they do. So in this video, I will teach all you guys everything that I know. I'm going to be taking it apart piece by piece and explaining what are the components are and what do they do and how do they mess up. So I hope that this video helps out a lot of people out there to learn something new. The washing machine that we are gonna work on today is gonna be a Kenmore. There's Whirlpool, Grosley, Amana, and some of the Maytags. They have the whole entire same system as this washing machine that we have right here. All you gotta do to find out to see if they're the same, you just gotta look at from underneath and to see if they have the same motor and transmission. I hope that this video is helpful for everybody that is watching it, and I'm gonna try to explain as much as I can. So first of all, what we're gonna see in the washing machine, we're gonna address the timer here. This is what determines how long and what cycles are you gonna use. And depending on it, then how long is it gonna take to wash clothes. And right next to it, there's a button here that some of them have it and some of them don't, which let you decide to see if you wanna one rinse or two rinses. And then next to it, we have the temperature button that lets you decide if you wanna wash clothes with hot water or cold water. So for example, if you put it here on the 15 or on the 12, that is gonna let you use only hot water to wash clothes. And it will use cold water to rinse your clothes. But if you put it right here on the number 6, it doesn't matter what you put over here on this one. It is gonna automatically wash your clothes with cold water, and it's gonna rinse your clothes with cold water. So the higher numbers are for hot water and cold water, and the small cycle is for cold water only. But here it doesn't matter on what temperature you put it. You could put it at warm water or hot water. The rinse cycle is no matter what, it's always going to be cold water. But if you just bought a brand new washing machine and you notice that your washing machine is rinsing your clothes with hot water, that means that your water hoses are connected backwards. The hot in the cold and the cold in the hot. The hoses, you have to hook up the cold water on the top and the hot water on the bottom. So if you put your hot water on your cold side, whenever you put your cycle to rinse, your clothes is gonna rinse with hot water and your clothes is gonna be all hot. And when you wash the clothes, it's gonna have cold water. Here we got the timer, and right here we got the dial to see if you wanna do one rinse cycle or two rinse cycle. Right next to it we got the temperature dial, and after that we got the sizes, the load sizes. That lets you decide to see if you wanna wash a small load, a medium load, or a large load. So right here the way of removing the timer out, and also to remove the dial that lets you decide one rinse cycle or two rinse cycles, and the dial for the temperatures, and also to remove the water leveler dial. The way to remove these dial knobs is just to grab it with your two fingers and just pull it out, and then they all should come out. But right now we're not gonna remove none of this because we're gonna just focus on the timer first. Some of these washing machines, if you look in the front, they're gonna have some little cover here that you can remove, and then it's gonna have the screws in there that hold the board in place. And once you remove them, then you could flip that backboard out. And a couple of machines, they have the screws back here that you could just take out, and then it allows you to move your board up and around. But in this one right here, you have to go under the lid. You have to open the lid and then go inside of the washing machine. And it has some tabs in there that you gotta press with your thumb. So we'll go under it, and then I took one out, and now we go to the other side. Sometimes it's a pain to take this out, but once you get them out, it's easy to pull back in. And right here, I am going to show you the little clips that it has in there. So as you can see right here, you can see the little clip right there that I was talking about, that you have to press with your thumb in order to move the board up. And this is where the clip goes in there, in that little square. So you just gotta press with your thumb in, and then it'll release it and you can turn the board over. And from right here, then you just expose the timer and you can see it right there. So here, in order to remove the timer, the first thing you gotta do is you gotta get a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver. Right here, it has a little hole where you could stick the screwdriver in there. And once you stick your screwdriver in there, you should be able to pull your timer knob and pull it out. But sometimes you're gonna run into this problem. These little things, they break easy. So whenever that happens, all you have to do is get your little pliers. So in this case, we can use these ones right here, and we gotta just grab it from whatever piece is left over from that thing that I just broke. You just gotta be really careful for this because it breaks easy. So we just grab it with the pliers here, and then we just gotta make sure that we hold it there, and then we pull on the knob so it could be able to release it. So once you remove the knob, then you can see that if we pull this little stick right here, then that pull that little thing that's in there, you'll pull it in, and it'll be allowed to release the knob, and then you could pull it out. So once you remove the knob, then you can after easily just pull out the dial, which allow you to indicate what cycle you want to use on the washing machine. Once you remove those two, then you gotta follow up by removing this little tiny screw that's in there. It's just holding the timer in place, and you flip it over. First, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the wires. Right here, just by inserting that little flathead screwdriver, you could push the tab in and then pull the wire out, and do the same with the timer. There's a support here that you just gotta pull out with a screwdriver, and then just pull on the connector and it will disconnect. So here, once we have disconnected the wires from the back, then we could go ahead and get the little open box ratchet, and then we could just take off that little screw that's here. This is the little screw that's just holding it in place. So here we are gonna use our little flathead screwdriver again. What I'm showing you right here is that you see that little tab right there. You just put that little flathead screwdriver in there, and you gotta lift it up, and then at the same time you have to pull that timer towards you. Do not try to spin it around. So here we got the timer. Aquí está. Aquí está. Here's that little piece that I had to be pulling with the pliers, and the thing that broke. So you had to hold that down so that stick could go in and out, as you can see here. So if you put that little stick all the way in, that's gonna cause that knob to stay in place, and so that way when you pull on it, it won't come off. Here, as you can see, we have the timer. The mount functions that the timer does when it's messing up. If you got your washing machine and you got it set it up to start washing, and you set it up on the cycle so that way you could start washing the clothes. But then your washing machine starts washing the clothes without filling it up with water. In that case, that would have been one of the problems that happens to the timers. If it starts washing clothes before filling up with water. Number two, if you set up your timer to the rinse cycle or in a regular cycle so that way you could start washing your clothes, and you trust the washing machine to do its business, so you take a little break and you just decide to go somewhere. And then when you're done, you decide to come back like an hour or so back to check up on the washing machine. And then you realize that your timer got stuck on the same spot and it never advanced. That means that your timer is also bad. That's if you put it on a cycle to wash a load and it never advances, it never moves from there. That's a sign that your timer is bad already, 100%. And the last thing that could happen to the timer is that if you put your timer on a cycle to start washing your clothes, and if you hear like a little buzzing noise inside the timer, and then your washing machine just doesn't do anything at all, that means that your timer is also bad. But there's another part on the washing machine that might make the timer not work properly either. Because the washing machine also have another part that activates the timer and lets it know when it's time to wash. Right here, that part that we got next is the dial that lets you choose one rinse cycle or two rinse cycles. And then after that, we have here the temperature dial. I've been working on this style of washing machines for like 25 to 27 years. And not even one time that I remember, I never had to replace the temperature dial or the rinse dial. So I won't be doing any repairs on that or any explanations. The only thing that I notice about the temperatures is that when people wash clothes, they just leave it on one temperature and then they leave it, never use it. In the rinse cycle, they only leave it at one rinse cycle. So those two dials I've never seen replaced, or I never had to replace one. And they never break. So we're just gonna skip those two and we're gonna go to the water leveler. Which this dial, it does cause a lot of problems a lot of times. So right here, in order to remove that button from the water leveler, all we gotta do is the same thing. We grabbed it from the sides and then we just pull it out and it should come right out. Now that we have removed the knob, now we turn around the board and then we could see the water leveler right there. First of all, we're gonna disconnect this little water hose here. That little hose is like a little pressure hose. And now if you look down here, it has like a little clip. Then all you gotta do is press it with your thumb, and then at the same time you turn it around, you spin, and then it comes out. Then after that, all we gotta do is remove this connector, and it's all ready. Right here, all we is doing is just get a little flat head screwdriver, and then we're gonna put that support there, just pull it up, and then with your other hand, you just pull it out, and then it should come right out. So right here, we got part number 2. What this part lets you do is to decide what level of water, how much water you want in your tub. If you want to wash a small load of clothes or a medium load of clothes or a big size load of clothes. With this here, it doesn't matter how much clothes you put in there. You could put a big old ball of clothes in there, but still, if you put that level on a small load, it's just gonna give you the amount of water that is needed in the small load. So it doesn't matter how much clothes you put in there because it doesn't go by weight. It does not have sensors or anything. What that does is sends a signal for the timer to see how much water is gonna go in the washing machine. So if you put it on a small load, even though you put like 30 tons of clothes, that washing machine is only gonna send out a little bit of water. Like here, if you guys notice that I disconnected the little hose here, but if you notice that your washing machine is filling up with water and it keeps filling up with water and it doesn't wanna stop. But then after your washing machine it keeps filling up with water and then it overflows and it goes outside of the tub and it just doesn't stop filling up with water. What that means is that either this could be clogged or that little hose just came undone. If you open your board and then you notice that the little hose is disconnected, what you can do is get a little clipper and then get the hose and just cut at least like 1 inch from the tip of the hose. And then all you gotta do is just rehook it up into the leveler. And the reason why it does that is because some people like to wash their clothes with hot water. So the humidity and the hotness, it expands the little hose, so it makes it to come undone. And another thing that it could be another problem. If your washing machine is still filling up with water and it doesn't stop, but you notice that the little hose is hooked up still. Sometimes like little pieces of debris, like little rocks and stuff could get in there and make that thing clogged. What you can do sometimes is just blow on it. No sé si oyen esto. So if you hear that noise, that means that your leveler, it might be still working. But if you don't hear that noise, then that means that your water leveler is something's wrong or something is stuck in there. It could be like a little piece of rock or a little piece of plastic. But if you blow on it, and sometimes that little piece will fly out because it does create a little bit of pressure when you blow in there. But if you notice that that little hose is hooked up and then you blow on it and then you put it back in the machine and then it works for a couple times but then it does the same problem again, then that means that your leveler is malfunctioning and it's time for it to get replaced. Well, right here, there's no need to explaining of how these other two pieces work because they never break on me or I never had to replace one of them. But still, since we gotta take the whole washing machine apart, we're gonna go ahead and just remove them. So I'm just here showing you how to remove these pieces, just in case you have two washing machines, they look the same. And if one looks nicer than the other one, then this is how you just remove the parts. Yeah, you remove this by using a flathead screwdriver, and they have that little tab that you just press, and then you just rotate it to either right or left, and then it should come out. So part number 3 is our door switch that you can see right here. To remove this, first we're gonna remove the connector. After that, we're gonna get a screwdriver with a socket, and then we're gonna remove the screw that's holding the ground cable. Now, in order to remove the switch, all first we have to do is we gotta open the lid from the washing machine. Then we go back to the switch, and it has a little tab here that you press with your finger. And then you rotate the switch up and forward, and then you remove the switch. So right here we have the door switch. Now what this does is that it activates when the door is closed. The door has a little hook that activates this little switch right here. So when the door switch is activated like this, it allows the power to go in through one side and come out the other side and make that connector. And it allows you to start washing the clothes. Like in this type of washing machine, if you open the door and then you put it to the cycle, it won't do anything. And it won't do anything unless you close the door. So once you have the door closed, then it activates to fill up the water and to wash the clothes. But the main thing that this is for child-proof safety. Like for example, if you are washing a load in there and then you open the door, then the washing machine is gonna turn off by itself automatically. What can happen is that some kids like to go in the washing machines and the washing machine is working and accidents happen. Another thing that if your switch is not working but your washing machine is washing clothes, but it finished the washing cycle but then it got stuck in the rinse cycle and it's not draining the water and it just got stuck with water inside, that means that your switch is broken and it's not working properly. So once you replace the switch, so there's some washers that when you open the door, some of them will not fill up with water, and also it won't activate to start washing the clothes. And there's some of them that do fill up with water and wash the clothes. but it won't drain the water out and it won't spin the water out because you have to have your door closed. What I do in this case, in practically with these switches here, most of these switches always short out. So what I do recommend people or my customers that it's better to put this switch direct. Like right here, for example, if you notice that your switch is kind of like melted or your plug-in, it won't disconnect because they melt together. What we can do here is you cut this gray wire and this white wire and then you splice them together. And make sure that you have like a wire connector or a tape just to make sure that you don't make a bad contact with a washing machine case. So right here, you splice these two cables, then you just put them together and you cancel that switch so you don't need the switch no more. So while you do that, if you put the wires together, your washing machine is gonna wash clothes, it's gonna fill up, and it's gonna drain the water, even though you have the door open. Yeah, even though you have the door open or closed, it's still gonna wash clothes, it's gonna drain, and it's gonna do everything. So this is one of the ways to fix this switch. If you don't have any money to replace the part, all you can do is just put those wires together. So remember the white wire and the gray wire, you splice them up and put them together. Well, the only thing that you got left after that is this green wire here, is the ground cable. Just cut it and splice it and then get a little screwdriver and tap it into the washing machine case. And like that, you will complete the circuit of the electricity to go throughout the washing machine. And one thing about the switch, that if it breaks down, if it burns or melts, that won't give the signal to the timer so it could start filling up with water and doing the washing cycle or draining the water out. Now up next, what we're going to do, we're gonna remove the casing of the washing machine so that way we could see the inside. So to start with this one, most of the brands out there, they all have these hooks here and they all come up apart the same way with a flat head screwdriver. So you put the screwdriver, there's like a little hook in there and then you leverage to the back and then it should just snap right out. So what I'm doing right here is I put the screwdriver in that little hook right there and then I leverage it back so that way it could unhook from the casing. And then it has a same hook on the other side. All you have to do is leverage the little hook to the back and then it should just snap right out. And now the way that you could remove the casing of the washing machine, all you gotta do is here is first lift off the door and then you could just grab it with your hand like this and you pull it towards you and then you lift it up a little bit and then you drag it out. You gotta make sure that you get it out of the way so that way it won't get on your way. And now we're gonna take a look on the inside of the washing machine. Here we have our washing machine drum, but the way we're gonna work is we're gonna start from the back. And while I'm taking it apart, I'm gonna be explaining what does what and why do they have problems. Like right here we have the water valve, so we are gonna disconnect that one. We're gonna get a little flathead screwdriver and right here it has a connector, so we're gonna just remove it. So right here, as you can see, this white connector, that means that it's cold water. And right here on the bottom, the red one, that means hot water. Right here, what you can do is you could also switch the opposite way. So depending on how you put your connectors, your water valve is gonna work according to your connectors. So right here, what we're going to do, we're gonna remove our filler hose by removing this clamp right here. And now we are going to go behind our washing machine. And with our 1/4 inch socket screwdriver, we are going to remove this little screw that's back here. Then after moving that screw, then you should be able to like lift the valve up and pull it out, and it should be released. And there's, as you can see, the water valve. In our next part that we're gonna take a look at is the water valve. So right here, this is the position that it goes. So right here, the filler hose, it goes under here on this nipple. And so right here on the top, that is for the cold water. And the bottom one is for the hot water. Just by removing the screw that was right here, that's the support, so then you could remove the water valve. The function of this water valve is that when you start your cycle, according of what temperature you put on your dial, then it depends if you're gonna be washing your clothes with hot water or if you're gonna wash clothes with warm water. But always remember that if your water valve on the cold side is working good, with the cold water side, you could either wash your clothes or rinse your clothes. And the hot water side is only to wash clothes, but not to rinse clothes. So if you start your cycle and then you decide that you want to wash clothes with cold water, but your washing machine starts filling it up with hot water, then that means that you put the hoses on the wrong side. The way that you could know that if your water valve is not working properly, the first thing that if you put it on the cycle to wash clothes and it's just dripping a little bit of water or a really thin drip of water, or if your water is just kind of like vibrating, then that means that it's time to replace the water valve. Either the water valve is heating up and getting stuck and it's causing it not to open all the way. And in another case, if you set your timer to do a load and then your washing machine starts filling up with water, and even though you turn off your timer on the washing machine and then the water valve doesn't close and it's still filling up with water, if you have to turn off your water from the spigot, then that means that you gotta replace it. One thing that everybody can do with this, if you only wash your clothes with cold water and that's the only water that you use all the time, and you never use hot water at all, I've seen a lot of people that put like a little cap on there and they close the hot water and they only hook up the cold water to the spigot. So if you always use cold water but you're never using the hot water side, and then just out of nowhere your cold water side is malfunctioning and your cold side either doesn't stop filling up with water or doesn't want to fill up at all, instead of you going out there and buying another water valve, what you can do here, all you have to do is switch your cold water connector to the hot water connector and your hot water connector to the cold water connector. And do the same thing with the water hoses. You could put your hot water on the top and your cold water on the bottom. So just by switching the connectors and the valves, then that automatically it turns the hot water into cold water. And then you don't need to use the hot water, which is gonna be on the top. So if your cold water side is not working no more, all you gotta do is switch the connector and the water hose. So that way you could use the bottom part as your cold water. So either or, if the top or the bottom stop working, you could hook up to the cold water or the hot water and make it wash and rinse with hot water or cold water. In our next piece here, we're gonna address the agitator. Depending on what kind of style of washing machine you have, like there's some styles like you can see right here, it just have a little lid that you could just pull out And there's some of them that just have a flat cover. That you could remove it by getting a flathead screwdriver, stick it in there and just twist it and then take it out. What we're gonna find inside the agitator is a little cover with a O-ring, and inside the agitator it has a screw. The size of the screw in there it's a 7/16 or an 11. So we're just gonna grab our ratchet with an extension. Just put it in there and then just work it out until you get it out. Just remember that you gotta hold on to the agitator or the whole thing is gonna spin. Make sure that you grab it from the bottom. Entonces ya nada más le da vueltas y ya está. And it's ready to come out. Like this agitator is a two-piece agitator, so only that top part came out. So we just gotta make sure that we pull it all out together. And right here we have two types of different agitators. So here I have the agitator that I took out, and this is another extra one that I have here. As you can see, this is a solid agitator, a one piece, which uses the same screw. The function of this agitator is that it only washes the clothes like side to side. And the function of this other agitator, as you can see, it comes apart in two pieces. And the purpose of this agitator is that the bottom piece washes your clothes and the top piece makes your clothes go down and around. Like the solid agitator here, it only washes the clothes side to side and really rare when it makes it go in a circle. Like in the case of this other agitator, the way that it spins like that, it makes your clothes go down and up and down. The way that you could find out if your agitator is broken, if you spin it like that and it spins freely, and then you spin it backwards and it spins freely the other way too, that means that it is broken. If you spin the top of your agitator counterclockwise and your bottom part doesn't move, then that means that your agitator is broken. The way that you can know to see if it's working good, the bottom part of the agitators, it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the top part of the agitator only moves one direction according to the pressure of the clothes that's in there and getting stuck. So when your agitator bottom part is going clockwise, it should bring the top part with it, and when it's going counterclockwise, the top part wouldn't have to move. But if you hear like a little rattle noise every time that your agitator is moving around, then that means that you gotta replace the center of your agitator. Like in this one, we're gonna split the agitator in two. So if you look inside the agitator, then you'll find a piece that holds that two agitators pieces together. The way to replace this is you're gonna get your little flathead screwdriver. You're gonna put it in between the fastener and the plastic cover, and then you're gonna go work around it so that way you could take it out like this. And then after this, then you remove this little thing. They're called agitator dogs. You have to get 4 new ones. Remember that you have to replace all 4 at once. Don't just replace 1 or 2 because then the agitator is gonna break fast again. So once you have replaced your agitator dogs, then you just put the fastener back in place. Make sure that you snap it in there. And then that fastener prevents it from flying out. Then that's it. You got it fixed. Then all you gotta do is just put it back in there and then just put the agitator back together. This here I have a box of agitator dogs. You could order them on eBay. They give you a box of 40 agitator dogs for only $19.99 or $20. So these are good for somebody that wants to do a little side hustle. Just order them online and you could get a whole box full of them. Now here we are gonna remove the cover here that you see in order to remove the drum. This cover here has these little hooks right here that all you gotta do is press it with your hand and then you could just use your other hand to unhook them. And that's how it should come out. This tray that you see right here is supposed to put like bleach or your fabric softener, but it doesn't work at all. That I see, it just gets stuck in there and never come out. And now we're here inside the drum, and you can see this. This is a nut that holds the drum in place. On eBay, they have a tool to take this knob out. It's like a thing that you put in there, and it has two little wings that you could use a hammer and take that knob out. So I had bought that tool before to take that thing out, but I had a hard time using it. So what I decided to use is a piece of metal that I found. It's a 1/4 inch thick, and my hammer. So this is the way that I do it. I do not recommend anybody to do it like I do it. I've been doing this for like 20 something years. So if you wanna get the proper tool, go ahead. But the way that I do it is I put it right here. It has 4 little gaps where I could put the piece of steel in there and then just hit it with my hammer and keep hitting it until it comes all the way out. While you have loosened up the nut here and then you are able to remove it, sometimes in order to remove the drum, you have to hold the drum with one hand and lift it up, and then with a hammer, you could just hit it in the center, little taps, and then spin it, and then pull it towards you again, and then hit it again, and just keep repeating that step until the drum releases from the center. Sometimes it is gonna get stuck in there, so you're gonna have a hard time. Once you have removed the nut from the center, then all you have to do is you gotta push the wall back a little bit, and then now you able to take the drum out. And right here, what we can see here is that we got 2 similar drums. These 2 drums are the same height and the same width, but the water balancer, the ring that you see up here, they are different. So if your drum breaks from the centerpiece, it's going to make your drum be bouncing side to side, which is gonna cause to be hitting the sidewalls of your plastic drum. If that happens, your water leveler is gonna be hitting the walls and it's gonna break. The water is gonna come out and it's gonna be getting it worse. If you notice that your washing machine, the drum is bouncing a lot and is making a lot of noise, the first thing that you gotta check is you gotta make sure that your ring doesn't have a hole somewhere. Or you gotta inspect the drum from the inside and make sure that it's not broken from the center. And the only way that you could check out the center of the drum is by removing the agitator. Like right here on this one of the drums is good and the other one is broken from the center. So here's the drum that we just recently took out of this washing machine. And also the balancer is in a good shape. And also the balancer on this drum is good. The good thing about all these drums, if you have like a Whirlpool, Kenmore, Amana, Maytag, most of these drums, the good thing is that the same width. There is a couple of washing machines that the drum is smaller than this ones. But a regular size drum is from 18 to 20-inch big. So the balance ring that you see here, for example, if it breaks on this tub, we can always interchange it with this one or put the smaller one on the other one. And in order to remove the ring, is you gotta hold the drum from the bottom and then turn it counterclockwise and it should come out. And once you remove it, then you can just install it in the other drum. And then right here on this drum, you can see that it's broken. They break off and they get rusted from the middle, as you can see here. Like right here, if you already shake your balancer and you could hear the water inside. Así como oyes el agua, then that means that your balancer is good. So remember to take the agitator off so that way you could shake the centerpiece of your drum. But if your washing machine is washing the clothes and then it's getting ready to go to the spin cycle, but your drum doesn't spin, sometimes the big nut that I took off earlier, it will become loose and then it won't put pressure on the drum to spin. So it won't allow the drum to get stuck and spin the water out. And right here, we're gonna remove this other piece so I could explain to you a little more. And the way to remove this piece here is you put your little hammer or mallet underneath the part and you gotta hit it up. You're gonna take a couple times to get it out. So just keep doing it until it comes all the way out. And now that we're loosening at this part right here, then we just take it out. And this is what is inside the drum and it supports the weight of the drum and connects it to the transmission. And on this piece right here, you can see that that's where the drum sits, and then you put the nut right there, and it ties up, puts pressure on the drum, and hooks up the drum to the transmission. If you put your washing machine to the drain cycle, and you hear that your transmission and your motor are both spinning, but your drum is not, sometimes it's possible that this part right here on the edge, sometimes it breaks off. So if that happens, then your metal drum will end up falling onto the floor of the plastic drum, and it will cause it not to spin. The reason why your drum spins is because right here, if you notice this is the transmission. It has two little hooks or two little things coming out, which hook up right here into these things that you see here, those little gaps. And that's what makes the transmission spin the drum fast. But there's been in some cases that circle, the whole thing falls off. And there's sometimes too that if your washing machine, the motor, it sounds like it's going really fast, but your drum is not spinning fast enough to take all the water out of the clothes. So that's a sign that you have a bad transmission, but we'll get to that part later on. So right here, if you notice that your washing machine is bouncing a lot, first check to see if your water leveler it doesn't have a hole and all the water came out. And then second, remove the agitator to see if your tub is not broken like this one right here. Like if you notice that your tub pole right here, it has a little rust, then little by little you'll start like eating it more and shaking. Your tab should look like this from the middle. Well, I want to thank everybody and I want to send everybody blessings. This is gonna be the end of this video, but next video that I post is gonna be about this same washing machine. We still got more parts. We still got the motor, the transmission, the water pump, and the wiring. And I'm going to be explaining more ways of why the washing machine doesn't drain all the water out properly, with the parts that are remaining on the washer and in more detail. We are already halfway into this washing machine, but I really hope that you guys learned something from this video. And always remember that what you learned today, you can use it for the rest of your life. And to start taking advantage of all the things that God has given to us, especially with the intelligence and the wisdom that we could be teaching each other. Because no matter what, life keeps on going on even though you stop to think about something. If you stop and procrastinate and think about what you want for your future, if you just think it over and over to do what you want to do and you just leave it for the next day, we can always stop and think about it, but life doesn't stop, it leaves us behind. So if you got a project or you want something to do, you can always do at least an hour minimum, or half an hour, or at least 5-10 minutes, 5-10 minutes a day. Just think about it. 5-10 minutes a day times 1 year, how far you can go. And it all depends if you have a small project or a big project. And I also would like to invite you guys to read the Bible, to start reading at least one verse a day, so we can all learn what's the Bible about, so we could find out a little bit about who is God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. Just take your time little by little. Don't be desperate and wanting to learn everything fast and quick and easy. Because the longer you stay studying, reading, or learning something, and pay attention to what you are doing instead of being all fast in a hurry, meditate and study the significance of all the things, what everything is for, how can you use it, and you can make everything useful for yourself, not just for the purpose of it, but you can also come with your own creativity. You could come out with your own inventions with stuff that's already there. And do the same thing with the Bible, like focus a little more, like read a verse and just pause and focus and study it. Like when you read a verse, always have your dictionary by the side and then find out what each word means and find out what they were trying to say. Not just learn what it says, but what it's telling you. And then once you understood that verse, then you could apply it to your own life. Because that's what I've been doing in my life and for my experience. Not so much of what I have learned on the streets or on YouTube, but stuff that I have read myself, with my personal experiences that I have had with Jesus Christ, with the Holy Spirit, and with God. I have my own stories of how Jesus Christ came into my life and saved my life. Like some cases, Jesus Christ presented himself into me in some really bad times that I have suffered, and some good times that I have celebrated. I would like to tell you guys my story about how I came to meet Jesus Christ, and if you are interested, leave it in the comment section, and I will be making videos of my stories, and I will be explaining some cases that I have lived, and why do I believe in Jesus Christ. Because so far what the word says is has strengthened me more, and I have learned to be a better father, to comprehend more, in any way, in every way, and how to live life with more joy and with more happiness. and how to accomplish more of my goals and my dreams and everything that I've been wanting to do. And I hope that this message opens your mentality to a new way of thinking and have new desires while I leave you guys with in God's hands, and may God bless all of you. And always keep healthy, happy, and always be positive. Forget what about she said, what he said, what the neighbor said. If there's things that you know that you cannot fix yourself, just let them go, put them in God's hands. And if there's something that you could fix, just remember that it's always gonna take some time. If you wanna work on a project or work on your inner self, it's going to take some time. I hope that you guys take this advice the way that I took it. Let's live life to the fullest, or else life is gonna come back and bring us down. So, through the Holy Spirit, we receive blessings today and forever. And also, too, if you're having a hard time, if you're living your life from paycheck to paycheck, I'm gonna be teaching a little lesson on every video that I post now. How you can be better and save more money and live a better life. In the first place, you gotta make sure that you get a good paying job. A job where they pay you more than what you pay in your monthly payments. That includes food, your car payment, your rent, and all the stuff that you gotta pay. Make yourself a list of how much you pay each month, like water, light bill, car payment, house payment. Add all your payments in a list and put the total on the bottom. Then once you figure all that out, then all you have to do is get a job where they pay you more than what you have on your list. That and to have a little extra money. If you are working at a job that pays you and you don't have enough to pay for your bills and your dues, so it forces you to be cleaning yards, helping other people, do side jobs. But in the other hand, if you are doing a side job and it's making more money than what you are making at your regular job, if that's how you choose to live, then if that's how you like to live and you think it's good, that's okay, don't worry. The only downside about that you don't have enough time to do stuff that you want to do. Like going to the park with your wife and your kids and take a walk. So with that said and done, I just recommend you to go get a better job to get paid more. You have to make at least $200 to $500 a month extra than what you are paying in your monthly payments. And not just because you're making that extra money, then you're gonna be able to like spend it to the movies or do stuff that you haven't done in a while. Use it wisely and invest it in something. Don't do what I did. I had a job where they were paying me like $15 an hour. So with that money, I managed to get an okay car and an okay house. So then I wanted to go educate myself because I wanted a little more money. And just because with that education that I did, I got a $5 raise. With that alone, I just started making a little extra money. But with that in mind, I made a big mistake. With that in mind, I was like, I can now afford a better house, a better car. But everything went down because about a year after getting my new house, my new car, then I lost my job. And they decided that they didn't need me no more. So I want to stress out to you guys that if you are able to at least save $200 to $500 a month without having to touch it or spend it, just keep it like in a safety box for an emergency. If you find it hard for you to save and you have to be getting jobs on the side, well, let me just tell you that that is not good at all. because you never know when something happens. You could lose your job, like I did. So I recommend you to first start by getting a job where you get paid more money than what you pay on all your bills together at home. So this is the end of this message for you guys. Hope you guys learn something from here. On the next video, I will do a second part of this. I hope that you guys apply it to your life and you guys help others by giving them that advice too. Another thing too, if you guys like to cook or paint or anything that you guys like doing like as a hobby, something that you just like to do at home, don't forget that you can always get yourself a camera and record yourself while you are doing your hobby and just record it videos and put them on YouTube. Just think about it this way, like every time you post a video, you're saving a penny today in the bank, another penny tomorrow. And then later on when you deposit a lot of pennies in the bank, then that same penny is gonna bring you some interest back to you. Like for me, the videos that I posted like a year, 2 years ago, they already bringing me some pennies for my pocket. So I recommend you for you to start uploading videos today, no matter what you're doing. Whatever you know that you want to teach other people, just make sure that you're doing it with joy, with happiness, with desire for everybody else to learn. Like right now, if I inspire you and motivate you, but if you do have a YouTube channel already, let me know so that way I could share your video to my subscribers and my followers. Like right now, you guys are helping me with abuse. I could help you guys with abuse too. Like without you guys, there's no me, and without me, there's no you guys. So we need each other to help each other. So everything that we know, let's teach it to our children so that way, so our kids could have options to where to choose from. So they could have themselves an open mind for more options and more stuff to do and more opportunities. Not getting stuck on the same routine, just going to work back home, going to work back home just for to put a plate on the table. So it's time to stop wasting time. I'm just sitting there for hours watching movies. If you're having a hard time to provide a plate for your house, if it's needed to stop drinking with your friends, if you cannot pay your house bills, stop going out to the casinos and buying scratchers thinking that you're gonna be rich someday when you know that you don't have enough money to fix your car and get it running or to put gas in your car. That is really wrong. Well, may God bless you. May He fill you with love, peace, and the Holy Spirit.